My amplified unit, welcome to the Amped Up Podcast, Thursday, June the 29th, 2023. By the time you guys listen to this Amped Up Podcast, we will be approximately 48 hours away from the Money in the Bank Premium Live event / pay-per-view for us traditionalists. 48 hours away from some of the biggest decisions WWE has faced in a very long time. Decisions that are going to carry them far past SummerSlam, way beyond Survivor Series, catapulting through Royal Rumble, and all the way to WrestleMania. 3 names that have to walk out of London when Saturday afternoon, evening, nighttime, wherever you are in the world, when that show goes off the air, 3 names that have to be put on a pedestal, way more than even Roman Reigns and the Bloodline in the Civil War. 3 names. You may have your personal opinions and favorites and thoughts about who should win, and that's fine. But these are 3 names that have to walk out of London on top of the wrestling world. We'll go over them. One of them's going to shock you because I'm saying this name over one of my favorite wrestlers on the planet. So you're going to be like, BC, what was in the coffee? We'll discuss. 48 hours away. BC's not playing, man. These are 3 names. Put our thoughts aside. Put our favorites aside. Put our opinions to the side. This is what needs to happen. These are 3 names. I'm done playing around. 2 out of the 3 names I'm going to tell you guys about, 2 out of the 3 should have already had flawless booking for years. They should already be or have been on top of the wrestling mountain, and they never even sniffed it. You may think they have. Oh, we're going to talk about it. And the third one, lightning in a bottle right now. They already screwed up several times at WrestleMania with individuals. Asuka, Cody Rhodes, and then some. Don't do it to this third guy. That's it. That's the teaser. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk Sting. What was Sting thinking last night? It was clear he was uncomfortable up there. It was clear just by him standing there he was never going to clear what he wanted to do. How do you allow that to happen? 60 some odd years of age. The dude is up there on a ladder about to jump on the 2 tables and a dude in the middle of them. What are we doing? What are we doing? BC talks about it. And JR9's got the NXT review in the Super Thankses. We're going to go over Super Thank. There was several of you guys chucking a coffee over to BC through the Super Thanks. We're going to go over that. Maybe BC will tell you, you know what, I'll tell you my coffee story. Why am I drinking my coffee without a lid? Why is there no top on my coffee? That's right, and that's all I have left, too. Can you see that? I'm spilling it now. I just spilled a good sip trying to show you guys. I'll tell you the story why I have no top on my coffee, and while I'm spilling it, that I'll do right before maybe we go over the Super Thanks. Wait till you hear my coffee story. Oh, that was BC's morning. We'll go over all of this, man. Smash that up. Come right on back. If I have any coffee left, we'll get amplified on Amped Up's podcast for the 29th of June. Let's do this. Come on, BC. BC drinking his coffee without a lid. Like he's sitting at some bougie cafe or hitting up a coffee truck, one of the two. Got to remind myself to tell you guys that story, why BC has no lid on his coffee. Hopefully I can do that at the end of this podcast. Maybe when we go over the Super Thankses or JR9's NXT review. Around that time, I'll tell you guys my coffee story. It's funny. Hopefully it'll be funny by the time we get to the end of the podcast. It ain't so funny to BC right now, man. Spilling my coffee is the equivalent to Paul Levesque trying to book Austin Theory cashing in a Money in the Bank briefcase. We all know how that botch went. Well, that's the equivalent to BC spilling his coffee. You fucked up. You fucked up. You fucked up. That's a chant we used to do back in the ECW days. You hear it once in a while nowadays, but the crowds are different. You don't get really a nice, hardcore, edgier crowd like we used to. So those "you fucked up" chants are pretty much, they're gone. With a lot of good of what wrestling once brought. We're not trying to get into a somber mood already, man. We're supposed to be upbeat, right? London, 48 hours. It is indeed Money in the Bank. And there are 3 names that BC is telling you, man. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is these 3 names or a bust for BC. First, I want to talk Sting, if you don't mind, right? I'll get this out of the way now because I just want to touch up on this. I don't know what Sting was doing last night or what he was thinking about, and I am an advocate. I don't care your age or any of that, man. If you want to live your life a certain way, if you want to do something, and it's not harming others, right? As long as it's not harming anybody else, let me put it out there. But if you want to do something that is what you are passionate about, you love it, it doesn't harm anybody else, I'm an advocate for why the fuck would you get in the way? Let them do it. No harm to anybody else. You shouldn't be losing sleep over it. So I'm an advocate for that. Even in pro wrestling, when there's other people you have to be concerned with, right? You're working with somebody else. If you're, for instance, jumping off a ladder onto somebody who's laying on a table, okay, well, now it affects somebody else, right? You could harm somebody else because you should not be doing that. But even in wrestling, I give it a lot of leeway, right? This is their craft. You don't know if they've rehearsed it 1,000 times. Everybody feels comfortable enough to give it the green light. Okay. Even in wrestling, I say, screw it. It might be crossing the boundaries and the lines. It might be a little too risky. But without certain risks, you won't get certain rewards, right? And you have to step out of bounds at times. You have to push that envelope. So, in pro wrestling, yeah, when a lot of the community says that should have never happened, or how could they allow that to happen? A lot of times BC is like, shut up. Like, that's perfectly fine. All right, it went off the rails a little bit, but 9 out of 10 times, 99.99% of the time, like a Clorox wipe, it most likely would go off without a hitch. Right? It hit a snag. Then you go to last night. That's one of those instances where it is not the case. 99.99% of the time, BC will tell you if Sting tries that, that's how it was going to end up. I audibly, first of all, if you don't know what happened, guys, there was a tornado tag match. Sting and Darby Allin versus Painmaker, Jericho, and Sammy Guevara. Guevara's on 2 tables on the outside. In the ring, there's a tall ladder set up. Sting is up there, tells Darby to get off. Sting is going to jump midway through. He wasn't at the top, but he was midway through. And even turning around, Sting looked beyond uncomfortable, right? It was very gingerly turning around. And I'm like, this dude's supposed to jump out of the ring onto tables? On top of that, he's I call it front-laced bow-legged, right? You know what bow-legged is in individuals, especially athletes, as they get older in time, they get more bow-legged. This is front-laced bow-legged. Kurt Angle, for instance, has the same thing. Sting is starting to get it, where their knees are kind of buckling a little, right? Sting is 60-plus years in age, guys. 60-plus years in age. So, your body starts to, it crumbles down a little bit. It's just what happens. Different people's bodies in different ways, obviously. For Sting, front-laced bow leg is what I call it. So, he's already, he can't move like he once did. He'll be the first to tell you that. He's gingerly trying to turn around on this ladder way up high. And once he finally turns around, you immediately know what's happening. This dude is going to attempt. He's never going to hit this. He was never hitting this. BC, I've seen him do X, Y, and Z, though, in the past. Me too. This particular night and that setup, he was not landing this. So he turns, he looks down at Darby, who's a little ant down below on the outside of the ring on 2 tables, and he's actually contemplating, you know he's gonna do it. He jumps off the ladder over the top rope, clearing several feet in between to get to these 2 tables and Sammy on top. BC audibly, before he even jumped, audibly, I yelled out, "You're never gonna make it!" He's not gonna make it! You're not gonna make it! Anybody ever ride the dinosaur ride in Animal Kingdom down in Florida? The end of the ride. They're not gonna make it! They're not gonna make it! If you ever ridden the ride, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I'm screaming. I'm like, dude, you're not gonna make it. Yeah, you can bet the house on it. He ain't clearing that. It's one thing to think you can still do what you did back in the day. And by the way, even Surfer Sting didn't do that shit. I don't know what Sting is going through right now or why he feels the need to leave this legacy behind. You've done the table spots. You've jumped off of high areas. This will end your freaking career and maybe life. It's not worth it for a Dynamite show that 800,000 or 900,000-ish fans are going to see tops. Tops. He's not even doing this for a milli. And sure enough, this isn't just Monday morning quarterbacking. This isn't a fan sitting on the couch thinking they know better. I'm telling you, Sting was never going to land where he wanted to. The splash was sad. In air, he looks like the movie The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. If you ever see the movie The Wrestler, it ends with him doing this weak splash, and and he's already having a heart attack. The end of that, spoiler. If you've never seen the movie, I'm spoiling it right now. Earmuffs for the next 5 seconds. But the dude's having a heart attack, and he still decides to do a splash, and the movie ends. Okay, hopefully you're back if you didn't want to hear the spoilers. But it was the same thing. I mean, the splash was I'm surprised he landed where he landed. I am shocked that Sting even reached Sammy Guevara. The way that splash had no rhythm to it. The way the splash had no real clearance. It had no depth or vicinity, no range, no nothing. This was as if he was he dropping like a New Day flat pancake. Somehow, he went over the rope, which was only a foot away, and somehow he actually cleared a few feet before he got to the tables. Unfortunately, that's as far as he got. But I'm shocked he reached Sammy almost. But he reached maybe the halfway point of the first table. His whole mid-range area just got nailed on it. He smacked his mouth on the table itself. I believe he lost a couple of teeth. I have not seen a new report, but it looked like he was missing teeth. And it looked like maybe one of them went through his lip, which is interesting because I came across recently Undertaker and Mankind. They were watching their Hell in a Cell match from like 25 years ago, something like that. I don't think it was 30, right? 25 years ago. They were watching it because I think the anniversary is coming up. Or maybe it already passed and I just caught this late. But Hell in a Cell, Undertaker, Mankind, and they were going over how it went through like his lip. His tooth was in his nose. And it's interesting to see because you saw a hole in Sting's lip. And at the end of the show, he's like putting his tongue through it. You could see Sting his mouth was messed up. Maybe even got a concussion. He was out. You saw they didn't want to show the camera on him after the splash. And Dr. Sampson was with him on a lot of shots where you could see in the background. Doc Sampson was heavily attending to him. So he might have been concussed, still finished the match, tapped out Painmaker Jericho. So that's a testament to how tough Sting is. And you're talking to someone who loves Sting, by the way. This is not shade. This is a heartfelt, please don't do that shit in the future. You don't need to put your life on the line. We respect the fact that you want to. Right? We respect the fact that you want to. Just like Undertaker used to love doing the over-the-top rope. Not really a senton, just an over-the-top rope splash onto whoever, right? I said years ago, that's done. Stop. The day he landed on his head, I said, you don't need to do that. You're the freaking Undertaker. It's not worth it. I'll tell mid-carders it ain't worth doing suicide dives. Getting your foot caught up on the middle rope and breaking your neck. It's happened in pro wrestling. People have tried to get back in the ring and have passed away. That's how I know, guys. I've done my research. It actually does happen, and it's just not needed. It's one thing to push the envelope. It's one thing to get a little risky, right? No risk, no reward type mentality, right? And you want to do something a little special. You want to show that you can fly like you're an eagle or you're Air Michael Jordan. Newsflash, you are not an eagle, and there's only one king, Air Michael Jordan. Sorry, not sorry, LeBron, but there's only one Michael Jordan. If you know, you know. Here Sting is trying to glide through the air. And he smacks his mouth on the table, gets hung up, stomach mid-range section into the edge of the table. Sammy might have gotten grazed a little bit. Second table was nowhere near getting freaking toppled over. I don't even know if the second table even got touched. Sting never came close to it. And anybody who not just knows how to critique pro wrestling, anybody who has watched enough pro wrestling has watched enough Sting. You knew as he was standing on that ladder, there was not a chance. You got no chance in hell. A little bit of Vince for you on this early Thursday morning. There you go. No top or no top on my Dunkin' extra coffee. You're still getting BC amplified. He had no chance in hell of clearing that. So now we have the discussion. Everybody needs to relax. It was a little fuck up. Sting knows what he's doing. He's a veteran. Oh, relax. It's pro wrestling, not ballet. Trust me, I say this shit. I agree. But can't we all agree that some people should not? There's not a reason on planet Earth they should be doing that. There's no reward. Guys, listen please to my words, even if you claim you don't like me. I can't stand Beasley, but I'm going to watch all of his I'm going to listen to all of his podcasts, and then I'm going to say, I don't like him. Okay, cool. I don't know what the fuck. Best of luck with that. Oh, what's Becky Lynch say? You little weirdos. Even if you claim you don't like me, listen to my words. There's no reward for what Sting did last night. Even if he lands that flawless, you did that for 800,000 to 900,000-ish viewers. Ish. I'd be stunned if they popped a milli last night. The show was not good enough for a milli viewers. All the viewers are actually going backwards. Don't get me started on that. So what's the reward on a Dynamite? Putting your, not just career, it's your life on the line at 60 plus years of age. Your legacy is already cemented. It's for his personal goals, BC. It's his personal, he just needed to fulfill that personally. Who are we to say no? Who are we? People that give a shit. Who is Sammy Guevara? Somebody who could have gotten really injured by an even bigger botch somehow. You're in there with other people. If you want to play golf and push the envelope, I don't know how you can push the envelope in golf or badminton, or you're playing a fucking one versus the computer Mario game. That's fine. If you want to get the new AEW video game and play the computer, okay, push the limits. Play for 7 days in a row, no food, no water. Let's see how far you get. Yeah, don't try that. That's utter stupidity. But what are you going to say? It was my personal fulfillment. I wanted to see how many days I could play the game in a row without taking my eyes off the screen. Well, that's sheer stupidity. But if you truly want to do that, live your life, as Rihanna would say. But when you're in there with other people, no, not happening. You can't do that at 60 plus years age when you're shaking on top of the fucking, you could barely turn around on the ladder and you want to clear motherfucking ropes, clear feet in between on the outside and land on 2 tables. And anybody really thought Sting was going to nail it because he hit table spots in the past? It was clear as day, even if he somehow miraculously landed it, there was no reward and no need, and that is pushing the envelope in the wrong direction. You're throwing the envelope in the trash before it even got a chance to be distributed. There's no chance he was landing that. And he wasn't going to be okay even if he landed it perfectly. He was going to be fucked up. Somebody has to be there to say, dude, I respect the hell out of you for wanting to do it. I just can't let you do that. What if we do this and present something different? That's still risky, but you know you're going to clear it. You know you can pull it off, and you ain't going to get fucked up. Sting's been getting more and more increasingly belligerent with some of the shit he's doing, and he's not landing all of it flesh, actually, and he is getting fucked up. And we just go, this is awesome, and we're not honest. It's the same thing with Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy has no business even wrestling today. Have you seen his body, what he's gone through, what he can't even get up on the ropes. He's falling off the ropes. Moving seems like a chore and a task, but instead, we cheer him on for more, and we say, it's his life, boys. Okay, but he's fucking his body up. He's gonna be in a... Do you want to see this dude in a wheelchair? Is that really what you're pushing him towards? Would he even make that? His body's getting so banged up, you turn to booze, you turn to pills, and before you know it, you're back on the road with a suspended license, and you're taking out another car, possibly, not just yourself wrapped around a tree. Jeff Hardy has a lot of issues in wrestling, pro wrestling, the toll that it's taking on him. That seems to be the common denominator, aside from personal demons, of course. But pro wrestling is enabling that nonstop, and everybody else is enabling the enabling. He's fine. He's fine. This time he really changed. Get him in the ring. It's not even about that anymore. The dude is having a hard time wrestling. So even if he continues on, okay, can we meet in the middle and just say stop with all the high-flying daredevil shit you once did, but now it's just tragic to even watch, and it's even more horrible to see you go through it. I'm amplified. I don't mind. I even like the idea of wrestlers wanting to take risks. It's pro wrestling. You gotta do it. I love it. There are certain times where we all know from the beginning. I know if you guys are being real, if you guys are being fully honest with yourself, you know damn well you did not feel comfortable with Sting on that ladder last night before he jumped. You knew this was not going to end well. You knew it. If you're being honest. And maybe you're like, yeah, but I said fuck it, BC. Sting knows what he's doing. That's fine. But at least you're being honest. You did know that that was not going to go right. And you also know, if you're being fully honest, there is no reason to do it. It's frustrating to see somebody like Sting. And I know what I'm talking about because like a lot of you guys, I grew up watching Sting. All the evolutions. I was watching Surfer Sting in WCW. And I'm not talking the Nitro Monday Night War era, which a lot of you guys grew up in. I was around, dating myself a bit here, I was around before that. Surfer Sting taking on Big Van Vader. Not just Vader, his name was Big Van Vader back in the day. I was watching him take on Cactus Jack. Not Mick Foley or Dude Love or Mankind. No, Cactus Jack, the original version. I was watching Sting and Ric Flair put on their original classics. Sting, Barry Windham. I can go on and on. So I know the whole progression and trajectory of Sting from day one, I watched vividly, and I've been enamored by his work. A legend personified. But doing this past the age of 60, when he never did this back in the day, okay, we did it a little bit, right? Many events where Sting was jumping off of shit and going through tables. Okay, we did it. Awesome. We're not talking about that we're just not. That's not going to be what we remember in his legacy. I just hate to see the dude get so fucked up. He fucked himself up last night. And it could have been even worse. That's the type of risk that's not needed in pro wrestling, man. When you know from the jump before it even happens that it shouldn't be happening, it probably shouldn't be happening. Timeout. In fact, I would even let Mick Foley do what he did in Hell in a Cell and toss himself over, get thrown over the top, way down below, to the Spanish commentator booth, I would allow that or be more okay with that than what I saw last night. And one of them, by a landslide, you would think, pales in comparison, right? If you put those two things side by side, you would say, well, fuck, I would never let Mick Foley do what he did. I would let Sting do what he did. No, BC would absolutely let Mick Foley do that. And there was great, and he what did he do? Separated his shoulder or some shit. Probably he got fucked up in that. But that was a legacy personified, stamped in that moment. That's that risk reward that Mick Foley made a career out of. If you guys see The Undertaker, Mick Foley watching the match together, Mick Foley says that was around an era where he was unsure of his character. The fans didn't really know how to take him. He didn't know where his career was at that point, going into that match. Mick Foley said that. Afterwards, he made a whole career out of it. Millions and millions of dollars in contracts came after that. Not just WWE. I think Impact signed him into the future as well. Appearances shot up by 450%. I mean, the money came pouring in. Mick Foley became a household name if he wasn't already to you. But Mick Foley says going into that match, he was even unsure of where his career was. Right, that's risk reward. You can break a bone or two, I'm fine with it. Just to show you that I'm fine. It's not about breaking bones or getting injured necessarily. It's about the situation you're putting yourself in and what is the reward at the end of the tunnel. Is there any light even at the end of the tunnel? Can you get out of the tunnel? I spent way too long on that, more than I was going to. But guys, that's a big discussion in the pro wrestling world right now. What was he thinking? And then this is what we do. Fans are going to go, oh, shut up. He didn't Sting. He knows what he's doing. It was just a fuck up. And then there's people that are like, he's got no business doing it, man. There's not enough positives to outweigh the negatives. Yet the negatives are outweighing the positives, and that's when you probably should rethink it, recalibrate. Because you're telling younger wrestlers coming up that that's okay to do, man. Push the envelope to stupid measures. And I'm telling you, man, how old Mick Foley was when he got his injury, by the way, and Sting, I don't even like comparing it. It's two totally different situations. But Sting at 60 some odd, it could have been much worse for that dude. That's my thoughts on the Sting thing. I knew you guys were going to be like, Beasley, what do you think about Sting? That's my thoughts. I love when you push the envelope and take the risk. Just do them in the right situations, man. Make sure a shit ton of people, right? Mick Foley did his shit at a pay-per-view. Back then, pay-per-views meant something. They held weight. They had prestige. He did it at a damn pay-per-view. And that son of a bitch, he was out cold on the second fall when he went through the cage. He came out in the main event later in the night. Probably didn't even know what area code he was in. He's running to the ring with a chair, going slower than slower than snail's pace. He gets in the ring. He takes a stone cold stunner. Kane may have fucked him up too. Who knows? Mick Foley was one of the toughest bastards I ever saw in pro wrestling on that night. But you're at a pay-per-view. You know that the world is either seeing that or they're going to be talking about it for a long time to come. That moment just lived on forever. That's still one of the moments that we talk about on top of everything and anything else. What happened last night was never going to be in that category. Man, I cannot tell you how, if I'm screaming at the screen that you're not going to make it, get down, let Darby do that. Man, if BC's got to scream that, you know that's a problem. Let's stop that, man. Sting doesn't need to put his life on the line for our entertainment. I respect the fact that he would want to. Cool. That's where it ends. I think we all can agree on that. Moving on. There are 3 names that need to come out of Money in the Bank on top of the wrestling world. 3 names. Some of these you may go, yep, I actually agree, BC. And at least one of them you might say, whoa, I was not expecting that from you, BC. Hold on, let me get a swig of the coffee that I did not spill yet. Yeah. I gotta get a couple more coffees after this, man. Now I'm nursing. I only got a couple sips left, and I still have a lot I want to talk about. The 3 names. Let's start with I don't even want to talk Money in the Bank yet. Or the ladder matches. I want to talk about Sethington Rollins versus Finn Balor for the Participation Runners-Up Championship. It's sitting in your lap. Don't fuck this up. Drew McIntyre. Sethington's winning this. You guys know this. I understand it's London, and they especially love Balor. I get it, but Sethington is not losing that title. He's the odds-on favorite. It's just, nor should he. He just got the thing. Drew McIntyre. We talked about this not too long ago in a podcast. Drew McIntyre coming back. And WWE, to their credit, thinking about turning him heel. He was actually, at one point, this was internal conversation, and BC was fortunate enough to get this word. They were thinking about putting the participation trophy onto Drew McIntyre. Plan shifted out. They kept Drew up. Drew's been ready to come back for a while now. They kept him off. Sethington got it. Cool. But the fact that they were even thinking about putting that championship on Drew, and as a heel, was the internal talk. I commend that. That's finally something I don't condemn in WWE. I commend it. Now is the time we put that plan into action. After Sethington defeats Balor, or whenever you want to do it, maybe it's backstage after, whenever, Drew McIntyre takes out Sethington Rollins. First of all, you're in London. It's a big event, Money in the Bank. That's where you bring back Drew McIntyre. Let's not wait for a Raw or a SmackDown, or these days you show him up in NXT. No, let's put him right in the UK. Right in the United Kingdom, Drew McIntyre as a heel. Let's shock the wrestling world. I told you guys in the cold open, I'm not playing around anymore. This company needs that shot. This company needs the adrenaline. This company needs to get amplified. Drew McIntyre comes back. He'll get a nice pop. It's UK, and he's been gone for a while. Even Charlie Flair, if she's gone for a while, gets a pop at first before they start booing her a week later or 6 minutes later. But by then, she's already been back for 6 minutes, and she's already won her 97th title, right? Anyway, Drew, he comes back. UK, been gone for a while. Big pop, shocks the world. And he turns heel. Drew, who's one of the nicest, best dudes in the business, says fuck you to everybody, and he turns on Sethington. And you set up that through SummerSlam? And personally, Drew McIntyre gets that championship. And then, on Sethington, as much as you may love him, you think he's super over, that's fine. But that title will not become anything on Sethington. Sorry to tell you guys that. It's already tainted. It's already tainted. AJ Styles win against Sethington, and before the match, AJ said, I can't disagree with the fans. How can you not look at this as a runners-up championship? Sethington wins it, and we're looking at it as such. It's going to have to become prestigious. A heel Drew McIntyre with a good storyline with Sethington going into SummerSlam, and possibly Drew taking the title. Then and only then can we start to look at that championship as such. And in the process, Drew McIntyre will finally be on the mountain that he should have been on for a long time. Now you say, BC, I recall Drew not long ago winning the championship, the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. First of all, I believe, wasn't that the Thunderdome? Does that even count? I don't know. But yes. And where was the booking for him? Was booking doing him justice? Did you feel anything when McIntyre had that title? Because was WWE doing anything with him with the title? It's all rhetorical. It's no. We all know that they did him dirty once he got the championship. Going into that Mania, he was done dirty. Could you imagine the creativity you could have done with him? And they did a fraction of such. And again, the time that we were living in was just, I felt bad for Drew. And ever since he comes through the curtain, he should be a larger-than-life superstar. Instead, you're just like, oh, it's Drew. We give him the golf clap. No, but if you finally do things correctly, Drew McIntyre is a guy that should be captivating all of us. This is your chance. He's been gone for a while. Very rarely do you get a second chance at a first impression. You got one now with Drew. Don't fuck it up, World Wrestling Entertainment. Dear HHH and VKM, don't fuck this up. I have Drew McIntyre coming out of the UK's Money in the Bank as somebody we are talking about vividly. Now let's go to the Money in the Bank ladder matches. Let's start with the men because I've already been talking about this. There's only one name that should be winning this. It's funny, there was a report recently, and I don't even know where this dirt sheet came from, but no reputable source can back this up. I don't even care if Sean Ross today came up with it is absolutely false. Paul Levesque is vowing adamantly to not let Logan Paul win Money in the Bank. Do you hear if somebody comes across reports like this, how can you even semi-believe that to be real? Paul Levesque loves Logan Paul. That's fact. We know this. Just listen to how Paul Levesque raves. Simps to Logan Paul. Paul Levesque, Schnoz McGee, Pinocchio Pussface loves celebrities. He loves to push that type. He loves it even more than McMahon. And even if Paul Levesque was like, I love you, but man, maybe you shouldn't be winning this match. Do you honestly believe he's losing his dome piece trying to not let Logan win this match? You think that's the hill he's going to die on, taking on Vince McMahon? BS. He loves Logan Paul. Vince McMahon and 3 H's would have no problem catapulting Logan Paul. They think that's going to capture eyeballs to the product. That, more than anything, is going to carry itself outside of the company, and that's how they run their business. I tell you guys all the time, that's why you have the big W's in all the titles. Even the newly created championships still have big W's in the middle. It's because they know those titles are going to go to all the sports teams that win their championships. The athletes are going to pass it around. They're going to take photos. It's going to be on their IGs and socials. And before you know it, those titles will be in aisle 5 of Target, and they want the kids to get it. That's what my favorite athlete was wearing. That's going to get on ESPN, right? You just saw that with the Denver Nuggets. The title will get on ESPN, and that big W, you're going to know it's World Wrestling Entertainment's logo. Right? That's all they care about. Logan Paul has a very successful podcast that a lot of people that don't watch wrestling or know anything about wrestling, they listen to. He's got this drink that is becoming masterfully successful. Good for him, by the way. That's a hard market to crack, the soft drink market, and he is making a massive dent. He's showing up to his brother Jake Paul's events, boxing, or whatever fight Jake's going into. It's all publicity. If he's the Money in the Bank winner, and maybe even Vince and H have him show up with the briefcase, they love that shit, guys. So some of the things that you read, you really have to think, wait, I don't even have to think about this being real or not. This is as stupid as it sounds. I can't believe I wasted 3 minutes reading this dipshitted, dumb-fucked article, is what you'll be telling yourself. So, the odds right now are in favor of LA Knight, thankfully. Vegas, usually is being tipped one way. I'm just hoping that WWE does the right thing in 48 hours. Because even if right now they have LA Knight locked in, or a Damian Priest, this is a company that will absolutely do the switch up. And they'll think, well, you know what? Maybe Logan Paul's the best bet. After all, he could bring more eyeballs to the product, which is BS, by the way. I doubt very much a lot of eyeballs are coming from what Logan Paul is doing, but that's their business model. Paul Levesque just did that at Mania. Guys, Cody Rhodes was supposed to win that. We all know that. Cody Rhodes was going to win that shit. It's clear. Look at everything that... I don't want to repeat myself because I know I'm going to 100 times more anyway, at least. I've already repeated myself 1,000 times. Look at everything that Cody has done since Mania and look at everything Roman has done. Nothing calls for Roman having a title past Mania. Nothing he's done. In fact, we're about to go on 4 months. He hasn't even had a title defense. April 2nd, we're about to go into July. All of April, all of May, all of June, and now we're going into July. No title defense. He just comes back to have tag matches now with Usos. Or Sammy and Kevin. Right? And everything Cody has done with the Brock Lesnar feud, all of that, he needs the title. Going from Puerto Rico to the UK, everywhere Cody has been, he needs the title. No, Paul Levesque sat at a media scrum, which is just a bunch of fucking podcasters, YouTubers trying to do what BC does, and failing miserably. But this is one of those situations where he sat in front of media, and he said, no, that was absolutely my call. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong, he says. Paul Levesque switched it up. He felt last minute, you know what, I just don't feel right taking off Roman. I think I'm making the right call. And of course he botched. And he knew that. Right at the media scrum, he said, my call, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong, you know. I fucked up. But I'm not going to give him credit just because he admitted he fucked up. You know, that's a massive botch. It shows you that Paul Levesque, not just Vince, will absolutely switch it up. So even though we could hear good things about an LA Knight winning, that's, you know, until it's all said and done, I wouldn't put it past this company to hoist up Logan Paul, Logan, Paulito Logan, Logan Paulito, who the fuck knows? I wouldn't put it past this company to hoist this dude up so he hoists up a briefcase. But if you want to know who should be, not opinion, maybe you love Butch, maybe you love Ricochet, that's cool. No shade. There's only one person that should be winning Money in the Bank for the men this Saturday. And we should all be saying that name, L.A. Knight. Yeah! That's it. Simple, period. Exclamation point. Moving on. Women. You guys know I love Io Shirai. Io Sky. One of my favorite individual pro wrestlers for the females because she's one of the best female pro wrestlers on the planet. We talked about this recently in a podcast, how I don't see how her winning helps her at all. The booking is ass backwards. Io is the favorite right now in Vegas, by the way. So you're saying, BC, you should be happy, man. It's Io. She could possibly win Money in the Bank. She's the favorite to win it, BC, is what I'm hearing. The booking's ass backwards. Why would you have her at Backlash Puerto Rico losing to Bianca, flat, 1, 2, 3, looking up at the lights? There's Io's shot, Io's chance. And then a month or 2 months later, she's on top of a ladder with a briefcase, and people are supposed to be excited that she's going to get a future title opportunity when you just saw her lose her title opportunity. Guys, what I'm saying is, don't be shocked when a lot of fans are not as surprised or happy as you think they would be or should be. And that's coming from a massive Io backer. I'll say that. I hate saying fan. A backer. Supporter. I don't see how this... It's the same thing. You guys know how much I love Roxy down in NXT. When they were doing that tournament, because Roxy had to give that championship up, basically. It became vacated. And Roxy was in that tournament. Everybody goes, oh, she's going to get it, BC. You're going to be happy. She'll get it back. And I said, no. As much as I love Roxy, and because I love Roxy, she should not be getting that title. It will not do as much for her as if you just put her in some feuds right now that have nothing to do with the title. Because if you just start throwing now a second title, it got vacated, now she's going to get it back, and she's so young, and she's getting all these titles, it's going to eventually work against her. This is one of those, I don't care about adversity or struggle, this is just building Roxy up to the fans that especially don't know her or a lot about her. I don't want to see that NXT title anywhere near Roxy is what I was telling you guys. And I'm glad. I said there's two names. Put it on either Tiffany Stratton or Cora Jade. And I don't even think Cora Jade's really ready for the title. Tiffany Stratton claims she's not, but Tiffany Stratton is ready for the main roster right now. That's how good Tiffany is. And they put it on Tiffany. I wasn't just okay with that. I said that's exactly what should be happening. As much as I love Roxy, there was no business of hers getting that championship. As much as I love Io, and as much as she could most likely win this Saturday, she's got no business getting that title. There's one name that needs to be walking out of Money in the Bank for the females with that briefcase, and it's not Becky Lynch. And no, it's not Io. It is Bayley. Bayley needs to walk out of the UK, out of London, out of Money in the Bank, out of Saturday with that briefcase. And you could do it in a fun way. She screws over Io Shirai, Io Sky. Damage control isn't going anywhere. They've already teased tension. So you have an out for Io. On top of that, you have a feud, so Bayley doesn't have to rush into cashing that in anytime soon. You can think about it. And Io has a good feud, right? You don't need titles necessarily in pro wrestling. You need to be booked correctly. I say that like a broken record. Just be booked correctly. Some of my favorite wrestlers never held a world title back in the day, or even an IC title. Some of them. A lot of them held the IC, but never a world title. Some of them never held a title. One of my favorite wrestlers is the Big Boss Man. I tell you guys that all the time. Never. I can't even recall him holding an IC title. But he was always in the funnest of feuds. Bounty, Nails, and so many others. Right? How many people didn't hold world titles? Roddy Piper, Tito Santana. So many that you guys can name. You don't necessarily need them, but they all had one thing in common. They all had such awesome booking. There was a lot of feuds you remember with them, right? This is one of those things where Io and Bayley could have this side thing going on while Bayley has the briefcase. Io has something special. But Bayley, guys, BC, man, can you explain a little bit, man? Of all the females, Bayley, isn't her time done, BC? I mean, there's not really that connection anymore. That's the problem. Bayley should today be one of the best female wrestlers on this planet in terms of how we view her. Her skill is absolutely in what she can do in the ring. But how we view Bayley is nowhere near today what we thought it was going to be from day one. And she had a second chance at a first impression. She's one of those, like we talk about Drew. She came back at SummerSlam, was it last year? I want to say last year. She came back, and she brought in Dakota Kai and Io with her. Formed Damage Control, and that was a massive pop, and we had high hopes. Bayley was kind of ruined by WWE, but this is the second chance we've been waiting for. I know she's been waiting for. And WWE booking did what WWE booking does best. Threw it right in the trash can. To the point where Bayley is at right where she's at now, viewpoint-wise. To the point where, to some people, if you say Bayley has to walk out with the briefcase, they're like, are you out your damn dome piece? That's sad. Bayley is still one of the best. Bayley should be looked at as one of the best. Bayley is still phenomenal at what she does, and she's not out of time. She's still in her prime. This is the moment for her to stand on top of a ladder, the briefcase and the briefcase, whichever one she wants to hoist, up top on that ladder for all of UK and the world of pro wrestling, fans, talent, and everybody in between, to view her on top of that mountain. This is Bayley's time. I don't see how Bayley goes in there, takes another L. Man, this could be the final damaged nail. And not just damage control, but Bayley's career. You say, BZ, that's drastic. This isn't going to affect her whole career. No, it really is. This is one of those moments. Because the hole has been dug so deep for Bayley as it is, it's hard enough to get out of it. This is her moment. If you take this from her, good luck getting Bayley back to the promised land. Good luck getting Bayley to the point where we view her like we thought we were going to one day. Good luck, that's all I'm going to say. And this is coming from someone who fucking loves Io, who thinks that Trish Stratus has been phenomenal lately, and that's an unpopular take, a hot take, because a lot of fans today just claim that Trish does nothing for them. She's horrible. She's taking a roster spot. I'm seeing the exact opposite. So that's how much I love Trish. Zoe Stark. Zoe with Trish, I actually like. I don't mind her in this match. So for me to say Bayley so easily, with such conviction, that's more of a need, not an opinion even. I mean, because I'm looking at what it does for these individuals, what it does for them going forward, and their career, and what it does for the company, or how it should impact them. It's Bayley. We all have our preferences. Again, if I'm just a fan, I probably say EO, right? If you're a fan of Zoe, if you're going to say them, and you have your different thought process on it. But I can't, this channel isn't about my opinion, right? I'm not just going to talk about how I want to see EO win everything because I'm a fan of hers. No, that's not why I started this channel. And we're here to talk facts and truth. If we all think about it, Bayley deserves a moment, man. She deserves this. Drew McIntyre. LA Knight. Yeah. And Bayley. 3 names that have to come out of Saturday on top of the wrestling world. Anything else wouldn't just leave a sour taste in many's mouths, but it would just be unjust. That's the main topics I got for you guys. I want to go over now to the Super Thankses. In these Super Thanks coffees, you're going to get JR9's NXT review. We ain't getting to any of it. I got to tell you my coffee story, too. That's kind of funny. It's becoming more funny, even though I dropped a few sips that I crucially could have had right now. Let me get these Super Thankses on the big screen. Ron C 23 with that Super Thanks button down below that the tube is added. You can send a coffee to your favorite content creators. Throw a tip. It's never needed. It's appreciated. I never need that. The fact that you guys throw that on regular podcast uploads like this and you smash the thanks and you send BC a coffee, I say it time and time again, is humbling, man. Because you get that throughout the day. It's a highlighted comment and you get that. So I'll be in Starbucks and I'll be like, did somebody just motherfucking throw BC a coffee? Who the fuck? Ron C23, you didn't need to do that, bro. So Ron C23, all seriousness, man. 2-spot coffee. You are the best in the community, BC. You know, those are words that are absolutely humbling. There's no other word to say it, dude. I appreciate it. Like, I know that. But hearing that from my people, right? It's not just even somebody, just, you know, they've never commented before and it's my people after so long still putting BC up on that pedestal, man. That's what's humbling. Ron C23, man. Because trust me, I never give a shit about people's opinion, especially about me. I don't like opinions, period. That's why I don't mind. You can call me every name in the book. It never phases me, right? I came out the womb when I was born with people saying, fuck you, BC, you an asshole. I'm cool with that. But when my people show the most genuine, amplified respect, it's sent back tenfold. 100 times, Ron C23. You are the best in the community, BC. Ron C, you... my amplified unit is the best unit in the community. So, great minds think alike. And I will say this, the best always surrounds itself with the best. And that's why you're up in here, Ron C23. Appreciate you, brother. I had to spend a minute on that because that's a... man, you guys are the reason that this is so fun and I keep doing this, man. Even when it seems like pro wrestling is just done. You guys make this so much fun, man. Appreciate that big time. JR9 Gaming. Now, I have not read this yet. I saw that it was in the box before I started recording the podcast. JR9 Gaming, 2-spot coffee in the Super Thanks. It's that time again. JR9's Amplified NXT Roundup Gold Rush Edition Week 2 is here. This is where JR9, because I'm not able to catch Tuesday nights often, guys. Sometimes I can see a bit here and there or catch a clip. I hear what's going on, like Lone Wolf coming back and things like that. But JR9, my right-hand man on the channel, he not only catches it, but he has NXT on lockdown. He critiques it perfectionately. I take his words with value, and his words hold weight in talking about the NXT brand. So, JR9 does the positives and the negatives, man. And I always get it because it's highlighted in the Super thing. So I make sure that, or JR9 makes sure that I indeed am reminded of it. So here we go. I have not pre-read this, so I may stumble through some of this. I may pause a little bit because I'm comprehending what JR9 is saying because I'm trying to visualize how it went down on Tuesday. But this is JR9's Amplified NXT Roundup Gold Rush Edition, Week 2. For those of you that don't know, NXT was running themed shows last week and this week called Gold Rush. Week 1, Gold Rush Week 2. Last week they popped a really good rating with Sethington on the show. He drew, man, over 700,000 viewers. This week they held back into the 600s, maybe mid 625-ish, maybe 1,000 viewers. So they held some of that. A lot of people were wondering if they were going to catapult back into the 500,000s, like an AEW Collision, which only pulled 595. No, NXT was able to stay into the 6s. Hopefully that can stay steady and start to build towards 7 again without Sethington and such. Anyway, that's BC's thoughts. Now to JR9's positives, then we'll get to the negatives of the NXT this week. JR9 says the positives. Joe Coffey. Can I just say Coffey? You know I'm going to pronounce it that way, man. I'm going to change it up a little bit, JR9. You know that. Joe Coffey visited Tony D in prison, revealing via recording that Stax was the rat. It explains why Stax helped Gallus retain the tag titles earlier in the night. Good segment, which sets up what should be a fun story of Tony versus Stax. I'm really intrigued to how they get Tony out of prison. It has to be creative. From what I heard, JR9, before I keep reading on, a lot of people felt that was very well done this week. And that Stax is pretty much calling himself the leader of the fam. The Tony Soprano of the fam. I love that. You know, JR9, when I was able to catch that show, I love the prison stuff they were doing with Tony D. And just having the camera like you would actually have in an interrogation room. So I was on board with that story from the jump anyway. To hear that it's really kicking into high gear, I would love this, if I can find time, find clips of that. Because a lot of people are praising that. Also, good to see Andre Chase back. Yeah, he what did I see? I don't know if it was a full clip. Oh, that was the Tiffany Stratton-Thea match, correct? Stratton retains, and I think Chase came out afterwards to fend off the heels backing, who was it, like Drew Gulak was out there? I saw something like that. All right, I'll stop interrupting. I'm going to read this through, guys. All right. See what I mean? I read it, and then I start, BC kicks into his amplified gears, man. Good to see Andre Chase back. Gigi versus Kiana was solid. Kiana pouring paint over Gigi post-match was a good way to get Kiana some heel heat back after losing the actual match. Oh, there was paint poured out? All right, yeah, bro. You don't see that often. Lone Wolf Corbin returning is a very good move. It's significantly better presentation for him. I just would have did the change in the weeks after he lost to Mello. That way, the gimmick didn't return with a loss. Either way, this gimmick change is the last chance for Corbin. Now, I know I have to speak on this, guys, before I keep going with the positives. This does nothing for BC. I know that's a hot take. I know a lot of people are not going to want to hear that. A lot of people are raving about this character change or re-character up of Lone Wolf. Are we really acting like we give a shit about what Corbin does? Are we really acting that way? He has been so badly booked that now we are well beyond, for me anyway, and I know a lot of you guys are in the same boat. We are well past the point of just changing his gimmick back to what it was. Way past that. This isn't like John Gargano or Tommaso Ciampa where you can still save this. Or LA Knight saying fuck you to Max Dupree. We are well beyond that. The booking for Corbin has shown us they don't know what to do with him. They tried everything and it doesn't connect. Lone Wolf from the beginning was the best shot. It was a little connection, but bare minimum. It's amazing to see the community absolutely praise this to no end because they switched up some lights for him. It goes dark, they put the blue lights, they got some red lights, the music is jazzed, and this is the Baron we want to see on TV. No, it's going to take way more than that. If you think I was ever on board with Lone Wolf, no, I liked Broke Baron better than Lone Wolf. What the fuck is a Lone Wolf? And he comes to NXT to bring the Lone Wolf back. And then he loses, like JR9 says. I love that critique, JR9, because you're not just over the top praising this thing like it's the greatest thing since the Amplified channel or sliced bread. You're like, that's good. See, it's the best chance for him. As you ended that too. Either way, this gimmick change is the last chance for Corbin. You're exactly right, JR9. That's where it's hindering on. And you also said, I wish it was done after the loss to Mello because his gimmick returned with a loss. Thank you for looking at that with a clear vision, because that's what BC was thinking. Wait, what the fuck? That's like Balor bringing back the demon and then losing. Now, if it's somebody like Edge, okay, you know what I mean? It's Edge. But my point is, don't be shocked if that leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So, listen, he needed a change, there's no doubt. But if you guys think that I'm just jumping on board because he became Lone Wolf again, no. I'll wait till the booking is in for a month or two, and then I'll lay down the judgment, right? I'll give you my honest take on it. But right now, that does nothing for me. But regardless of that match was good. Told a simple story that really put Mello over as the gusty champ, overcoming the larger in size Corbin. Well, not 100%. Mello didn't think I'd say this, but I felt the Corbin match was better than both Breaker matches, which were quite disappointing. I'll agree with that, actually. I was not fulfilled in any way with the Breaker Mello shit. I think I was live, JR9, with you guys on one of them. Correct? Yeah, I think I was, and it was actually a really good event. Was that the same one that Dragunov and Dijak did their last man standing? I think it was, and then that one kind of brought the mood back a little bit, or it should have been better. So actually, yeah, and again, I'm hearing that praised as well, just like the Stax Tony D story. I am hearing a lot of good things with the Corbin. Corbin in NXT, it doesn't sit well with me. And it just seems to go against everything that Paul Levesque said NXT was now, developmental. College football to NFL. NFL stars wouldn't go back to college. So Baron even being there. Baron bringing back his old gimmick in NXT, not the main roster. Baron losing right off the bat with his old old character. But yeah, JR9 saying that's a damn good match. That would go in the positives. Schism's family meeting was a short but strong segment with Gacy delivering on the mic. It really built on his tension with the Dyad. Creeds interrupted. Gacy challenged Creeds to face Dyad next week. Losing team leaves NXT. Ooh, JR9, where are we going with this? So it's either a Creed Brothers call-up. That's what I love about JR9. He doesn't just lay down what happened. He's got exactly what is most likely happening, or the scenario that is set up. It's either a Creed Brothers call-up or Dyad are leaving WWE since they requested their release just after Mania. Did not know that. So, JR9, which one you thinking over the other, bro? Breaker shouted at HBK, saying there's nothing left for him and HBK can't control him. Then was asked by cameraman what that was all about, replying with, "You'll have to find out next week," a very effective cliffhanger. It most likely results in Dragunov vs. Breaker getting made for the Great American Bash, probably Braun's last NXT show. But we've been saying that for a while with Breaker. Breaker and Mello, we thought. Breaker and Sethington. Oh, man. That would be a boost for... But as much as we love Dragunov and what he's been doing, you can't have Dragunov lose that, obviously. And Dragunov just lost to Baron Corbin like 2 weeks ago, didn't he? So the Dijak Last Man Standing was totally not nullified because it's still so badass, but then he just goes and loses. And then what happens here? Dragunov can't lose. Breaker cannot lose again. Breaker just lost to Sethington. So Breaker can't lose again before he gets called. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know, Jaron. I don't know how you booked this one. But yeah, I heard that ended the show, too. I little possibility I might be wrong, but I heard that was after the show, like into the run-in time, that they ended with the cliffhanger. So it's an actual cliffhanger. Blair versus Roxy is set for next week. This is what I was telling you guys. Roxy, just give her a storyline, not a title. That's what she needs more than anything right now. Good booking, creative. Give her a storyline. That's going to far be more important than a title right now for Roxy. Blair versus Roxy is set for next week. Now that match should be very good. I expect Blair to win, as it's only the first match of their story. That's what I mean. If you give me a proper story, I'll take a Roxy loss right on the chin, and I'll be fine with it. Just do it properly. Very good positives there. Negatives from JR9 Gaming's Amplified NXT review. The negatives are there's 3 roll-ups in one night. What? 2 of them in the Heritage Cup match was just too many. So 2 in one match and then another one later in the night. I think that was the Tiffany Stratton match, correct? From what I remember with the clip that I saw, Tiffany Stratton, Thea tapped out Tiffany, but was distracted by like a gulak or something. And then Thea got rolled up by Tiffany. So I think that was the third one. Wow, man. 3 in one night. No, don't go backwards, HBK. Rhea's appearances made no sense. First saying to Mello to stay out of Judgment Day's business or he would get hurt, even though Finn already dealt with Mello on Raw. Felt very inconsistent and as if it was recorded before Raw even happened. JR9, I didn't even know Rhea Ripley showed up on NXT for a pre-tape, promo, anything. So that's news to me that even Rhea's down there. Then she later sided with the face, Valkyria, mocking JC after she got laid out by Val backstage. Like, what heel makes fun of another heel instead of the face? Just nonsensical writing. JC and Val's part was fine, though. JR9, you're talking common sense here, man. A rare blunder with that type of storytelling in NXT, wouldn't you say? I wish I saw that now to get a better feel for it. Tiffany wasn't made to look good versus Hale. Tapping out behind the ref's back and just escaping via roll-up. So, I can confirm what It was late when I saw that clip. I was on like 14 coffees probably. I was still tired even on 14 coffees. I thought I saw that clip, man. So that is what happened. She won by roll-up. No reason for Tiff not just winning clean, as it wouldn't have hurt Hale at all. She has to be more dominant. Yeah, I completely agree. That's not how you utilize. I don't know much about Hale. You guys could tell me more as we go along. But Tiffany, I know a lot about, and that's not how you make her look good. Even as a heel, no. Completely agree. The show was an improvement of last week's since the actual NXT talent were the main focus, but it definitely was not perfect. Definitely wasn't perfect. Also, just found out next week's show was taped last night, I assume since it falls on July 4th. Which they could still pull in the audience that they pull in. I mean, they'll be there every day if they were allowed to. But maybe the talent has to be elsewhere, or they're just giving them the day off. That is odd. Now I'm off to London, says JR9 Gaming, traveling on Thursday. I may miss a few vids/streams, but I hope to give some updates from the arena at Money in the Bank. Hopefully WWE produces a good show. The atmosphere should be unreal. I'm actually a little bit of goosebumps, man. When you just said you're going to be there, JR9, a little bit of goosebumps, man. I'm happy for you. I'm going to be vividly covering this event. The atmosphere will be electric. I would love to do this live. I don't know if you got cell service or not, JR9. If you want to stop in and say what's up real quick, I don't know. You're probably going to be busy having a great time live, but I hope to be live for that event. So, man, so happy for you, dude. Enjoy the travels, right? A lot of these type of they're adventures, man. A lot of these trips, the destination, yeah, that's cool, but the journey, man, is remembered far more than the actual destination a lot of the time. So enjoy the travel. Probably traveling by the time this comes out. Enjoy the travel and, of course, the destination. The world of pro wrestling will be watching Saturday afternoon for a lot of us, evening for the rest, maybe even morning wherever you are in the world. But JR9 Gaming, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the coffee, obviously, but more so for your expertise in the NXT realm of things. I greatly appreciate that. If I missed any other super thanks, guys, it's because I just didn't get them yet. I will absolutely give you the proper shout out in the very next Amped Up podcast. It's what I got for you guys now. My Duncan story that I promised you guys, or was going to try to remember. Well, it goes like this. Now, this may be TMI, but this is why I have no top on my coffee and while I'm spilling coffee this morning. So I'm out walking my German Shepherd and my little Chow, who's getting to be not so little anymore. Now, these are fierce dogs, right? German Shepherd. You can Google them. You can look it up. German Shepherds, yeah, they'll tear you apart if need be. And Chow Chows. That may seem like a cute name, and they got such a cute face. They'll rip you apart. They will not hesitate to bite your neck off, right? Now, I didn't get them just because they're amplified breeds. I got them for other reasons. But yeah, they will become handfuls. They're beasts. German Shepherd and a Chow. So I'm walking them. Thankfully, I don't always have to. You know, we have the dog walkers and all that. BC's too busy. I'm out of state many times as well, days at a time. But I have to walk both of them this morning. That's cool. Go get my coffee. Walk I was going to say the boys. The boy and the gal. And boom, my German Shepherd decides to just unleash right there. Big kaboom, right? A Duke kaboom. So your boy BC, he's got to do the cleanup. Okay, that's no problem. I have two dogs and I have a coffee in my hand. I have to put down the coffee. I put down the coffee. Now, this kaboom isn't the hardest kaboom, by the way. So the cleanup is extensive and it's taken a minute. So I'm trying to clean this up. I got those claw things. It cleans it up, but nothing was getting picked up. So the claw thing's not picking up. The coffee sit down. My German Shepherd's looking at me like, hurry up. I want to go whoop somebody's ass. Right? My Shepherd was just a beast this morning. I'm going to kaboom, and then I'm going to go terrorize some shit. Little did I know, my Chow is behind me drinking my coffee. Literally has the thing tipped, and it's coming out the top. The mouthpiece of the top. Drinking the coffee. I'm like, what are you doing? I don't know if she actually got any or not, but this thing was tipped, and I'm like, what are you doing? I turned for 6 seconds. She's good. I'm telling you, they were just having a morning where they just wanted to cause some destruction, and they wanted to get amplified. They wanted coffee. Now that's not good for pets, so that was an immediate no. That's mine. But there's no tap now because my German is fucking shitting fucking waterfalls. My Chow is trying to drink my coffee. And I'm just trying to film this for you guys so I can go and get all my business done for the day. So anyway, that's why I had no top on my car. It was that TMI. Hey, that I actually had to go through it this morning. You guys just had to listen to it. BC Amplified, guys. That's what I have for you on this Amped Up podcast, Thursday, June 29, 2023. Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun wrestling discussion with BC, man. Hopefully I enlightened you on some things. Hopefully I made you think about some stuff. And just open your mind up to different ways of thinking, maybe, or just what needs to happen, man, to really put this company back on track. And if at nothing else, hopefully you were entertained, right? If so, smash that up. Come on back, man. We'll do this again. Until next time, and there will be a next time, especially going into Money in the Bank. For now, top guy, I'm out. Going to get some coffees with lids on them. BC saying check you. Salute.